Gentlemen, look at your wrist. If your watch is big enough to serve a pizza on, we have a serious problem. Since the early 2000s, a disease has infected menswear: the oversized watch. Men over 50 are walking around with steel hockey pucks strapped to their arms, thinking it signals masculinity. It does not. It signals insecurity. It says you are desperate to be noticed. A watch is the only piece of jewelry a man should wear. It is a companion, not a billboard. When you wear a 46-millimeter diver with a tailored suit, you look like a child wearing his father's equipment. It ruins the line of your cuff and destroys your proportions. Today, we implement the watch protocol. I will teach you the geometry of elegance and how to choose a timepiece that whispers authority instead of screaming for validation. Straps over bracelets, the old money choice. We now arrive at the most effective hack in the entire watch game: the transition from metal to leather. This is the easiest way to separate yourself from the herd. Look around any business class lounge or high-end restaurant. What do you see? A sea of stainless steel. Every man is wearing a chunky metal bracelet, usually attached to a dive watch that mimics a Rolex Submariner. It has become the uniform of the corporate soldier. It is ubiquitous, predictable, and frankly, a bit boring. To achieve the old money aesthetic, you must understand the language of materials. A metal bracelet is, by definition, sporty. It is industrial. It is designed to survive seawater and sweat. It reflects light aggressively, catching the eye from across the room with a metallic bling that can often look cheap, even if the watch costs $10,000. It shouts for attention. A leather strap, however, is pure elegance. It is organic. It has warmth. When you swap a cold steel bracelet for a high-quality alligator or shell cordovan strap, you instantly change the personality of the watch. You take it from the gym to the boardroom. You turn a tool into a tuxedo. For the man over 50, this is crucial because of texture. Metal is hard and unforgiving against aging skin. Leather is soft. It complements the wrist rather than handcuffing it. It suggests a man who values comfort and subtlety over flashiness. Let's talk about the specific choice of leather. Do not settle for the cheap, cardboard stiff leather that comes standard with mid-tier watches. You must upgrade. The ultimate status symbol is alligator or crocodile flank. The complex scale pattern adds a rich, three-dimensional texture that steel simply cannot replicate. A semi-matte chocolate brown alligator strap on a vintage gold watch is the pinnacle of sophistication. It whispers inherited wealth. For a more rugged daily look, opt for Horween shell cordovan. It is incredibly durable, develops a beautiful shine over time, and looks better the older it gets, just like you. There is also the rule of visual harmony. A metal bracelet is a neutral island. It connects to nothing else in your outfit. A leather strap, however, creates a symphony. You must match your leathers. When your watch strap matches your belt and your shoes, black with black, brown with brown, you create a cohesive vertical flow that the human eye finds incredibly pleasing. It shows you have paid attention to the details. The metal bracelet belongs at the yacht club bar or on the beach. But for the dinner, the meeting, and the moments that matter, choose leather. The bracelet screams, the strap whispers. And in our world, the whisper always wins. The essential trio: what you actually need. Gentlemen, you do not need a safe full of watches. A true collector understands that more is not better. Better is better. In a world of clutter, clarity is power. A man of style can conquer the world with exactly 3 timepieces. This is the Holy Trinity of the watch box. First, the dress watch. This is your tuxedo for the wrist. It is the watch you wear to sign contracts, to attend weddings, and to bury your enemies. The defining characteristic here is minimalism. It should have a white, silver, or cream dial. It should have no complex complications, no busy chronograph subdials, no heavy rotating bezels, perhaps not even a date window, just 2 hands and 12 indices. It must be thin, under 10 millimeters ideally, so it disappears completely under your shirt cuff. Pair this with a black alligator strap. When you wear this, you are telling the room that you value precision and clarity.
It is the horological equivalent of a handwritten letter. Crucial rule: never wear this with a t-shirt. It demands a collar. Second, the refined diver. This is your daily driver. It is the Land Rover of watches, rugged enough to go off-road, but elegant enough to park in front of the opera house. This watch is built of stainless steel and features a rotating bezel and a black or dark blue dial. However, you must obey the 41 millimeter rule strictly here. A diver watch is naturally thicker, so if the diameter is too wide, it becomes a literal anchor on your wrist. This watch pairs perfectly with a polo shirt, a cashmere sweater, or your weekend pillar field jacket. It signals that you are active, capable, and ready for adventure, but you never lose your composure. It is the most versatile item you will own. Third, the field watch. This is the unsung hero of the collection. Originally designed for soldiers in the trenches of World War I, this watch is all about legibility and durability. It usually features large, easy-to-read numerals and a matte steel case to avoid reflection. This is the watch for your true leisure time, gardening, hiking, or working in the garage. The magic of the field watch lies in the strap. Put it on a canvas NATO strap or a distressed vintage leather band. It adds a touch of rugged, masculine history to your outfit without looking like you are trying to be a Navy SEAL. It is humble, honest, and incredibly stylish in its utility. If you own these three, you are finished. You have a watch for the boardroom, a watch for the beach, and a watch for the backyard. Anything else is just noise. Stop buying fashion brand watches that are merely cheap quartz movements inside a designer shell. They are trash. Save your money. Buy these three icons. Wear them until they are scratched and loved, and pass them down to your son.
The geometry of elegance, the 40 millimeter limit. Let us establish the fundamental law of horology. Elegance is mathematics. It is not about how much money you spent. It is about how the object relates to your anatomy. The most common error I see men over 50 make is wearing a watch that swallows their wrist. You are chasing a masculine look, but ironically, a giant watch makes your wrist look fragile. It creates the child in dad's clothes effect. Here is the hard rule. For 95% of men, the sweet spot is between 36 millimeters and 40 millimeters. If you have a slender wrist, under 7 inches, a 36 millimeter or 38 millimeter watch is perfection. It looks intentional. If you have a standard or thick wrist, you may go up to 40 millimeters, perhaps 41 millimeters for a diver. But once you cross the 42 millimeter threshold, you are entering dangerous territory. Anything above 44 millimeters is not a timepiece. It is a shackle. Look at the icons of masculinity. Muhammad Ali, Steve McQueen, Sean Connery as James Bond. They all wore watches that were 34 millimeters to 38 millimeters. Did they look feminine? No. They looked like men who were in control of their accessories. To diagnose your own collection, you must perform two specific tests immediately. Test 1. The lug-to-lug rule. Most men measure the case diameter, but the critical measurement is lug-to-lug, the vertical distance from the top tips of the strap holders to the bottom tips. Here is the absolute law. The lugs must never extend beyond the width of your wrist. Stand in front of a mirror and let your arm hang naturally. If you can see the lugs hanging over the edge of your wrist, floating in empty air, the watch is too big. It fails the geometry test. The watch should sit inside the perimeter of your wrist bone. When it fits correctly, your forearm looks thicker and stronger by comparison. When it overhangs, your arm looks like a twig. Test 2. The cuff slide. This is the ultimate test of quiet luxury. Put on your favorite dress shirt and button the cuff. Now, drop your arm. Does the cuff slide effortlessly over the watch? Or does it get stuck, bunching up the fabric like a crumpled accordion? If your watch is so thick, like a hockey puck, that it forces your sleeve to bunch up, it is ruining your silhouette. A gentleman's watch is discreet. It should tuck neatly under the cuff, only revealing itself when you check the time or extend your hand for a handshake. If your watch is fighting your shirt, the watch must go. Elegance is the absence of friction.
The Smartwatch Problem. Spy Kids versus 007. We must address the elephant in the room, the smartwatch. Specifically, the modern trend of wearing a giant rectangular slab of glass and plastic on your wrist while wearing a tailored suit. Gentlemen, I understand the utility. You want to count your steps. You want to monitor your heart rate. That is acceptable for the gymnasium. But at a candlelit dinner, in a high-stakes board meeting, you do not look like James Bond. You look like a character from Spy Kids. The fundamental problem here is a violent clash of aesthetics. Classic menswear is built on natural, organic materials. The soft nap of wool flannel, the rich grain of calfskin leather, the luster of silk. These materials breathe, age, and possess soul. A smartwatch is a cold, sterile appliance. It is a mini-computer. Wearing an Apple Watch Ultra with a tuxedo is the sartorial equivalent of wearing a calculator on your belt. It breaks the fourth wall of your style.
It instantly dates your outfit, rooting it in the fleeting technology of today rather than the timeless elegance of history. Furthermore, consider the psychological signal you are broadcasting. A traditional mechanical watch represents permanence. It runs on gears and springs, powered by your own movement. It is romantic. It says, I value craftsmanship. A smartwatch, conversely, is a symbol of anxiety and availability. It buzzes, it lights up, it demands your attention. When your wrist vibrates in the middle of a conversation, you are signaling that a digital notification is more important than the human being standing in front of you. True status in the modern world is not about being connected. It is about the luxury of being unreachable. It is the ability to ignore the algorithm. So, what is the protocol? You must compartmentalize. Treat the smartwatch like your running shoes. Wear it when you are sweating, training, or sleeping. But the moment you put on a collared shirt, the computer comes off. If you have a strict medical necessity to track your health 24/7, you must camouflage the device. You must execute a stealth upgrade. First, throw away the silicone or rubber strap immediately. It looks cheap and childish. Replace it with a high-end leather strap in black or chocolate brown. Second, change the digital face. Do not use the Mickey Mouse face or the one with 20 different data widgets. Select a simple, minimal analog dial with hands. Make the gadget whisper, not shout. But if you have the choice, leave the toy on the charger. Be the man who controls time, not the man controlled by it. Gentlemen, A watch does not tell the world how rich you are. It tells the world how much you value your time. If you are wearing a dinner plate on your wrist, you are shouting when you should be whispering. Your assignment is clear. Apply the cuff test today. If your watch fights your shirt, the watch loses. Sell the oversized toys and invest in a piece of history that fits your anatomy, not your ego. Now that your wrist whispers authority, we must address the most personal aspect of your presence, the face. In the next video, we will discuss the grooming protocol, how to maintain a beard and skin that commands respect, not pity. Subscribe, and I will see you then.